Hi guys, this is Erica Weston with
Bally.
Sports Midwest, and you're listening to my favorite St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio.
As the world's only personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment and your DNA, ID Life provides its members with high-quality ingredients backed by pure science.
It's science.
Check out rockinthatidlife.com and speak with Dustin about how you can reach your goals today. That's rockinthatidlife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in their awesome tap room. That's Center Ice Brewery located in Midtown St. Louis. Let's go Blues!
Welcome to Season 9, Episode 44 of Let's Go Blues Radio. This is the fully vaccinated, often imitated, but never duplicated, extremely complicated. We are the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by rockinthatidlife.com, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. And by centericebrewery.com, St. Louis's first and only hockey-themed brewery. We're broadcasting live on Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. This is franchise episode number 310, all time. I'm your host, Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by Bill Day and Kurt Price. For your listening pleasure, we'll be talking St. Louis Blues hockey for the next little while. To interact with the show on social media, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just do a search for us. If you can listen to a podcast, you can certainly search the internet. Have you checked out our Discord server? Blues fans can talk with other Blues fans with either text or voice chat. The three hosts of the show will periodically be in there this summer, especially when any news breaks. For more info, go to letsgoblues.com/Discord. We're dual live streaming right now on YouTube and Facebook. If you haven't already done so, please just subscribe to the show, smash the bell so you'll get notifications when we go live. I'll add that this is an episode that may be worth checking out video if you haven't yet. If you're a podcaster and you're interested in possibly watching us for once, what we're going to be doing in the second segment of the show very well could be, and I guess the third segment of the show, very well could be worth watching rather than just listening. I'm interested to see how this goes for podcasters. It might be cool. We'll find out. This is something that is new territory, I think, for many hockey podcasts, not just Let's Go Blues Radio.
So what you're saying, the video of the show is finally worth watching?
Finally. One time. If you're ever going to watch one show, make it be this one. We'll see how it goes.
Or if it completely just crashes and burns.
We do like to experiment on this show, right, Bill?
If it crashes and burns, then just don't.
Yeah, we are experimenting tonight.
Yes, we do like to experiment. Before we get into anything off the top of the show, I made a big boo-boo last week. I mentioned that there would be an update on Bill's dog, Sheldon, and I never let Bill speak to that. So I am a terrible host. I will be caned later tonight. But Bill, please go ahead and tell us what's going on with Sheldon.
You'll be Patrick caned later tonight.
Yes. Oh, that sounds even worse.
Yes. It
means you'll be roofied, is what you
roofied and beat up in a cab.
Exactly. So Sheldon is, doing amazing. He's actually, I don't know if he's can't really see him, but he's asleep here on the couch and you can see his ass, but
see his ass.
That's a nice ass.
It's a good dog ass.
Yeah. Skinny, very skinny and bony. But no, he's in some of the best shape that he has been in several years. For those who don't know, we adopted him, and we knew he was diagnosed with epilepsy before we adopted him. So we knew he had some health issues, and we've been managing the epilepsy. And then about three or 4 weeks ago, craziness out of the blue, he just kind of collapsed and wasn't walking on his own, and we were afraid we were about to lose him, and came up, a couple of days in the hospital. We talked about that, and now he's diagnosed with Addison's disease, which is a highly treatable thing, and since we started him on the treatments, which is basically steroids, he is a brand new dog. He's got full control of his motor skills, which had kind of been deteriorating with all the medicine we were giving him for the seizures. So he's in great shape, and he is just back to how he was when he was like a 3 or 4 year old, and he's 7 now. So
that's fantastic.
Full use of motor skills, which is more than we can say about Jeff, right?
True. That's true.
Yes. Right. And for anybody that has seen Jeff skate,
you know what?
His team
You bring
has
this
to pick
up.
him up every once in a while.
You bring this up. I did something last night in my ice game that I have not done ever, and I was very impressed, and I know I'm going to start trying to pull it out more often, and I'm going to look stupid. I did a spinorama last night.
What?
I've never done a spinorama before. I was coming in on the wing on the power play, and a guy was coming, to my left. I'm a lefty. And so I went to the backhand, and I was just going to like turn my back to him and stop and then pivot back the other way. But then I thought, you know what? Let's just go all the way around.
Going.
And I did it. And I even said, as I'm carrying the puck, I'm like, oh my God, I just did a spinorama. And I came in on goal, and I got a shot on goal. It was actually a very nice save by the goalie. But yeah, I broke away from the defender. I came back to the bench, and I'm like, guys, please tell me you saw that. I actually did a spinorama. It was like the greatest moment of my adult hockey life. I didn't even score on the goal. I was just happy I pulled it off.
It took like 7 seconds, but you did it.
That's what I said. I was like, it was probably a slow motion spinorama, but spinorama nonetheless. I tried to show my wife. I tried to show my wife what a spinorama was. She's a soccer player, so she calls it something else, the Maldonado or something. Somebody's going to yell at me for not getting that right. Machado. No, that's not it. Anyway, it's named after a player from the 70s. I can't remember his name. But I think she said Barcelona maybe, or Argentina. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I tried to explain it to her, and so I pulled up the first spinorama video I could find, and the first one was Zdeno Chara doing one, actually, and it was super slow. He's a big dude, and I said, that was actually probably the speed I did it at, because that's not a very fast spinorama.
The only way you can demonstrate, using YouTube, I assume it's got to be out there. I mean, it is known as the Savardian spinorama.
Yep, and that's what I pulled up. Yeah, after I showed her the Chara one, I had to pull up. I'm like, you got to see a real one.
Yeah,
I was very happy.
That's awesome, and congrats for having the balls to do it in men's league. Did you get lit up later in the game?
Yeah,
no,
right.
I should have been. I was waiting for it.
It's like trying to do the Michigan.
I skated by after the goalie gloved the puck and smothered it. I looked at the defender. I went by and I just go, man, I'm really sorry to pull that move out. And he just kind of gave me a funny look, and I go, I swear I've never done that before. That's why I was so excited. He finally started laughing. We're like, okay, all right, well, I'll give you that one. And I'm like, thank you. Yep. Nice. Well, gentlemen, let's get into, Kurt, we didn't get anything from you. How was your past week?
My past week was very eventful, actually. We had, I mentioned before, I coached my daughter's softball team, and we had, it was a learning year. Half the team, they were new to softball. They hadn't played before. So it was an instructional year, basically. And we finished last, which was fine. But it was great seeing them get better and better and better as the season went on. And in the first playoff game, we won, actually. And it was handily. They played great. And the second game was against a powerhouse O'Fallon team, which is big city,
O'Fallon, Illinois.
Illinois, yeah, big city, big town. Our town that we're in is small. I don't even know why they're in our league, They got like 15 girls. We got like 9. So anyway. Damn near beat them. We had a 10-3 lead at one point and a 14-10 lead in the last inning, and they scored 5 in the bottom half of the last inning. The last 3 with 2 outs, and the winning run was a play at the plate where they slid under the tag, and it was just like I couldn't believe how great my girls played on. They did so good. I was so proud of them for taking that team down to the wire and darn near knocking them off.
That's awesome.
And my daughter and I tonight, we went to watch the championship against 2 O'Fallon teams. The 2 O'Fallon teams met each other, the 2 powerhouse teams, and the team that beat us beat them. So they won the championship.
Okay. So you lost to the champ.
I mean, we did, and barely, and we really should have won. We had a play where we had the lead. Third strike was a strikeout on the third out, and then bottom of the last inning, and the ball got away, so the runner got to first base, couldn't throw him out. And so we were that close to winning.
Oh,
it was rough, but the great season because they did so well. They got so much better and learned a lot. So it was fun. I had a blast.
Something to build on for next season.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. Well, congrats to the girls. That's great. And I'm sure Zoe was the all-star. So
she did very well this season, and she actually ends up loving softball. So that's fun.
Good. That's awesome.
Yep.
So let's move on to the beers of the episode, official beers. Remember, you can follow us each on the Untapped app. Untapped's a great app. Again, not a sponsor of the show, but we love it. We use it all the time. Kurt's at CPrice12. Myself can be found at JPonner94. Bill is at Billy Blue Note 33. Let's start off with Mr. Price. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Naughty Pretzel beer from O'Fallon Brewery. This is O'Fallon, Missouri. I was talking off air about pretzel beers. I haven't had a pretzel beer I disliked. I have liked like every one. I really do like pretzel beers. They're good.
That one's really good.
Yeah, it is good. The first time I had it was at the Belleville some beer fest in Belleville at the Square for like a year over COVID, I think. It was outdoors, but it was good. It was delicious. So I had to buy a bottle when I bought it 6-pack when I found it. It's good stuff. O'Fallon Brewery, Naughty pretzel beer.
Bill.
I am going with another local beer, different brewery, Perennial Artisan Ales, Shake the Frost Session Coffee Stout. So, like coffee stouts are my wheelhouse, and haven't had one on the show in a while. Picked this up at Randall's a week or so ago, and it's for a coffee stout. It's only 5% ABV, so theoretically I could pound a couple of these during this show, but probably not going.
I think you should just do it. Do it right now. Let's watch. No, or we'll hold the show up. Do it now.
Just shotgun it. Just
come on.
Just poke a hole in the bottom of the glass.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Glass shards. That'll make you real manly.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. The alcohol will seal. Will disinfect the wound.
Yeah, exactly.
You keep a knife handy, right?
There you go.
Right, yeah.
It's not working.
Okay.
I like it.
Not working.
Just slam it on your head and open it.
So I'm also going with as we always seem to, we're going with the local breweries here. I'm going with the localist of the breweries. I don't know if that really makes sense, but it's Anheuser-Busch. So clearly this is the one everybody knows from St. Louis. Shock Top. One of my favorite, honestly, just one of my favorite beers. Don't really have it much on the show. I don't normally have it in the house. Usually that's my beer of choice when I go out, but
that's
decided to pick some up. I think it's some good stuff. I always love me some Shock Top.
Show that label again. That's a new label. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, it is.
As the old one.
Yeah, still solid.
I mean,
still the same logo.
Same logo, but different graphics around it. Just
different graphics.
Plain.
Yeah. Yep.
And quite honestly, Kurt's thinking the whole time that's just not Bud Light Orange.
It's true.
No,
I was making my choice between Shock Top or Bud Light Orange, and I went with Shock Top only because they had a 18-pack as opposed to the 12-pack of the Bud Light Orange. So I was like, All right, I'll get the 18-pack. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I think I would have gotten Bud Light Orange just for you, Kurt.
I was going to say, that'd be the first Bud Light Orange appearance on this show that was not mine.
Yeah, almost did it. By the way, I also want to point out I'm drinking out of my great Duff glass, Duff beer. We all love it.
That looks like an 8 ounce. It's small. It's like 8 ounces.
Actually, it fit the whole beer. 12? It fit my whole shack top. Yeah, it's rounder, I think, than you're used to.
Wider.
Yeah, a little wider. Yeah, I guess I should have said wider.
That's a girthier mug than
it's a girthier mug. Yes, exactly.
It's not the length; it's the girth.
It's always the girth, baby. That's what I always say.
That's what
so say. Today in Blues history, for July 14th, 2021. The only thing we have is I'm going to guess 2 of the 3 hosts of this show were drunk 2 years ago celebrating a championship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't drunk. It had been about over a month. So it wasn't still drunk, but still very happy.
No, I was saying I was probably going out and getting drunk still.
Actively smiling just randomly because of it. Just
yep.
You're walking down the hallway in your house and you're like, we're Cup champions.
Yep.
Just smile.
I've got a mix that I have. It's just a mix I listen to before I play hockey. And like I said, I played last night. And Gloria, I forgot to put Gloria on there. So that came on right as I'm pulling into the parking lot. And I'm like, I got to listen to the whole thing. Damn it. Got to listen to it. Too much nostalgia. Yep. Speaking of nostalgia, big show today, guys. We're going to be getting into a new segment that we're calling Mystery Hockey Theater. This is our test run, so we'll see how well it goes. I mean, this could suck. We may say, let's never do it again, but I think we're going to have fun with it either way, fellas. So looking forward to that. We will be getting into that here in a minute. Let me talk as I forgot to put up there it is. Okay, let me get that up.
Chat.
All right. Yep, I'm ready to go. So we'll be back with you in just a minute with Mystery Hockey Theater after a word from our friends at rockinthatidlife.com. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Put that energy drink down. Don't you know that common energy drinks contain high levels of caffeine and other harmful ingredients that can lead to increased blood pressure and heart rhythm disturbances? Finding that energy you need for everyday activities doesn't need to put your health at risk. ID Life's energy formula doesn't use artificial ingredients or a massive dose of caffeine. Energy's caffeine levels are released slowly over time, allowing for longer periods of energy without crash, not to mention keeping your heart safe. Energy also includes neurotransmitters for mood, focus, memory, and cognitive function. ID Life also added antioxidants associated with brain health for no reason besides perfection. With rockinthatidlife.com, you can get an energy boost and leave the heart risk behind. Text Dustin at 636-393-8745 or visit rockinthatidlife.com and throw those gas station energy drinks in the garbage. That's 636-393-8745 and rockinthatidlife.com and tell Dustin that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. Well, guys, we have got the game going here in the background. First of all, how's the audio levels? You guys think we're good?
That's good.
Good.
I can hear it, but it's not going to.
Gary Thorne.
Yep, that's all that matters.
We
got our National Hockey Night theme from ESPN, which hopefully will be making a return this upcoming season. But yeah, we are back with our special game commentary section we're calling Mystery Hockey Theater. Today we take a peek back at the 1999 Western Conference quarterfinal Game 7 between the Blues and the Phoenix Coyotes. I think we got some time here, guys, before the game actually starts, as we got the pregame rolling on here. We got a couple chat comments. Jesse Hill says, hey, everyone. Hey, Jesse. F117 Nighthawk, friend we haven't heard from in the live chat in a while, says, do it. Don't judge a beer by its cover. I'm not sure which one she's talking about, but awesome. F11 Night Saga says, I'm drinking Avalanche Amber Ale. Probably a bad choice for this show. Yeah, come on, Nighthawk. What are you doing? I mean, at least drink like a Phoenix-style beer. I don't know. I can't think of a brewery out there. But come on. That's totally wrong.
She's in Colorado.
Yeah, but what does that do with the show? You're drinking the wrong beer.
Oh,
that's okay. We still love you. It's okay. I'm just joshing. So as you can hear, we got Gary Thorne and Bill Clement on the call. I want to go over a couple notes on this game for those of you who might be too young or maybe you want a little refresher. First of all, we're not going to go through the entire game. We've got to cut up a little bit, and we're going to hit the important notes. So Blues versus Coyotes, 1999, Game 7, Western Conference quarterfinal. This was the 4 versus 5 matchup, and Phoenix held the 4 spot. So the Blues won Game 1 in Phoenix. Then they lost the next 3 games, each by 1 goal. The Blues then won Game 5 and 6, and that put them at 3 games apiece for Game 7, obviously. Only 2 games were won by more than 1 goal, and that was 1 game was actually a empty net goal. That was Game 1. Scott Pellerin scored that one. Game 6 was a 5-3 win by the Blues.
Do you see that that headline they showed on screen there of the paper, the headline for the day? Coyotes must win versus Blues to stay alive in playoffs. You think? It's Game 7.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nowhere else to go. If you lose, you go home.
And they're already kind of talking here. So we'll go ahead and mention Coyotes coach after losing the 2 games against the Blues. He coached Jim Schoenfeld, who did not coach the NHL again, but has done a great job with commentary. He guaranteed victory here. And right here in this, as I'm talking over him, I remember him saying he did that to take the pressure off the players. He wanted the pressure on him, which, looking back, I think that's a pretty solid coaching move. I like that.
I love that stuff, and I guess we'll talk about what Fuhrer said, because that's Fuhrer's counter to that was, he basically guaranteed a shutout. So you can't mention Schoenfeld's name without have another donut, right?
Yes, of
Right.
course.
No, that is his all-time best quote. Have another donut, you fat pig.
Fat pig. I love that so much.
Kaharski, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep,
I think
Kaharski
Kaharski reffed this game, actually. Let me look here. Hang on.
You pushed me. I didn't push you. Have another donut, you fat pig.
It was not Kaharski. Bill McCreary, and I can't read the other name, but it's not Kaharski.
In Schoenfeld's defense, I'm watching the video of where Koharski alleges he was shoved. I don't think Schoenfeld shoved him. It was just I don't think that was the case at all, but, whatever.
So leading scorers heading into this game for each team. Al McInnes had a really nice showing, 3 goals and 6 assists in this series. Led the series with 9 points. Phoenix's Dallas Drake, 4 goals and 3 assists for 7 points, led the Coyotes. Obviously, he played on the wing with Jeremy Ronick and Keith Tkachuk in this game. The Coyotes, going into this game, the Coyotes Winnipeg Jets franchise had lost 9 consecutive playoff series and were 0-4 in Game 7s. Blues were 5-6 all-time heading into this game, Game 7s. And let's go ahead and talk about Jeremy Ronick, who you're seeing there if you're watching the video. Ronick missed the first 6 games of the series.
Looks like a place kicker in the NFL.
Yeah.
What the hell
3
kind of
fractures.
mask is that, buddy?
He had 3 fractures to his jaw. He came back 19 days after undergoing surgery to repair the jaw, and 20 days after he'd suffered a fractured right elbow. He was hit with an elbow by Darian Hatcher, which actually Kurt shared the video with us before, and oh, man.
I thought he fractured his thumb.
I don't know. I didn't see, but I know that I read the game notes, and that was in there. He had fractured his thumb the game before.
I saw an article 20 days after a fractured thumb, I thought. Either way. But yeah, I remember anticipating, when I heard Ronick was playing in this game, and the contraption that the saw-like contraption he had from the movie on his face, almost like Jigsaw's got to you got to decode something to get this thing off his head, or it's going to eat him alive. But I remember anticipating his play and thinking, oh man, how's he going to play? And him being largely ineffective in this game. I mean, we'll see, from what we're going to watch. But from what I remember, I don't remember him doing a whole lot in this game.
He had some moments, but yeah, I remember him getting. I don't know if I have it in here or not in the cut up, but I remember him taking a big hit from, I think it was Blair Atchinham, and it was like, uh-oh, but he popped right back up and kept playing. I'm like, that's going to hurt tomorrow, because I'm sure he jawed his, kind of screwed up his jaw a little bit, fall into the ice. But, hockey players, man, they just keep going. Real quick, Grant Fuhr is featured here. I want to go ahead and say he comes into the game with 89 total playoff wins, which at the time was second only to Patrick Waugh, who I think had 106 at that point.
More of that girl in the YouTube chat says, you guys need the lights behind you to create the Mr. Science Theater silhouettes. Yeah, budget constraints and all, I guess. Yes. But we do have, at the bottom of the video there, the silhouettes altered to reflect hockey fans, which I guess is kind of hard to see because of ESPN2's bottom line. That kind of blackens that out a little bit. Maybe it'll change later, but we tried.
It looks good. Kurt is the one who's in charge of the graphics there, so very nice job with that, Kurt. Looks great.
Thank you. Trust me, it would look 10 times better if the ESPN2 bottom line was not there.
Okay, well, I can't do anything about that. I'll call ESPN and bitch to them.
Yeah.
Hey, 30 years ago, you posted this.
Maybe we could switch feeds midway through this game.
That might happen, folks. Stay tuned.
Right, and I guess we did we mention this was I was like daydreaming earlier. Did we mention this was courtesy of Bill?
No, so again, for those that don't know, on my YouTube channel, JPonder94, I upload old Blues games. All my old games that I recorded as a kid, plus others who've given me
And you have permission, right? You got permission for that?
I actually did. I got permission from the NHL. I tried getting permission from the Olympic Committee, and they said absolutely not. So I'm not allowed to post Olympic videos.
Why would you want to promote hockey and Olympics? And even though there's probably a shit ton of Olympic hockey videos on YouTube, whatever.
I don't know if there are. I've never actually looked.
There's somewhere because I've watched them. I do believe like the Summit series is on there or something. Canada, Russia.
The Summit series wasn't.
Yeah,
Olympics,
but that's not Olympic though.
Yeah,
right. Okay, you're right.
I've got one of the. Well, Bill's another. Oh, again. So as we were saying, this game's courtesy Bill Day. He gave me a bunch of his old VHS tapes. No softcore porn on this one, but it's a shame.
One of the few.
But yeah, we and this was one of the games, and then one of the games from I think it was from the Summit series. You gave me too. It was in there, so that's also posted up on YouTube.
Yeah, in the YouTube chat, Jason Miller says, one thing I have to ask is how in the hell we used to watch hockey before HD? LOL. Yeah. I know, right? I mean, trying to make out players' names. Granted, this is a VHS tape that's old, so the quality has been degraded a little bit from that. But still, tube television before HD wasn't a whole lot better than this.
No, it wasn't. But you can see the whiteout going in Phoenix. Do they still do that? Because that was carried over from Winnipeg tradition.
Yeah, they do.
So they still do it in Phoenix.
Yeah, Winnipeg does.
I don't know.
I know Winnipeg does. I'm saying does Phoenix.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Phoenix and Arizona does. Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. A couple years ago when they made it, I'm pretty sure I recall seeing it. But yeah, it's weird though right now because Winnipeg's back and the rightful owners of the whole deal, but they certainly went all in doing the whiteout thing. I mean, they showed the pregame. There were a couple of guys with mime faces. That's just weird.
That you're going all in. Yeah.
So
who is that? That's Pearson behind the net?
Yeah. That was Pearson. Yeah, we're 16-25 into the first period. And I was just going to comment on how underrated of a player I feel like Scott Young was his entire career.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, great player in Quebec, great player in St. Louis. Always put up good numbers.
Yeah, and I would say he was underappreciated here, almost made fun of at times amongst at the time discussion forum circles. It was kind of before social media. But yeah, the sports talk and things. Scott Young, almost like he was very productive. It was almost like people were like, "How's he doing this? How's he this productive?" It's Scott Young. It was almost like a slam while they complimented him.
40 goal scorer, Scott Young.
Yeah, he was good.
Right. I mean, he was the premier right winger for the Blues after the Brett Hull era. So no matter what, it's gonna feel like a downgrade, even though he was a damn good productive player. Especially when him lined up with Turgeon, they were so good together. And yeah, definitely agree. Totally underappreciated.
Jamie Rivers is on the ice right now.
Right there, man. Al McInnes. That shows you the points that guy had in the series. He just carried the puck in, wound up, and boom, just shoots it on net. And it's just that guy, man. When he was determined, you couldn't stop him. He was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, and and you really, I mean, you can see so much of a difference in the philosophy of hockey, watching this to compare to what we're seeing now. Because nowadays, a defenseman would carry that in and then set up shop. Right, they're not going to try to shoot. McInnes, no coach would ever tell McInnes don't shoot the damn puck. Right, and Shea Weber has Shea Weber in the news tonight. Probably not going to play next year, but he's arguably one of the hardest shooters in the game. Probably the best shooter since McInnes from a right-handed shot perspective. He doesn't even have license to come in and just let it go. Right, there's so much emphasis on possession that you want to get in there and make sure you at least get a second chance. And this game, you're not going to see that.
Yeah,
Arizona or Phoenix at the time. I think this season they kind of struggled in the goal scoring department. I think they were, and the stats were somewhere like 17th in the league in goals scored. I think where they excelled was goals against with Javi Bulin in net. They were like 8th in the league in goals against. And
Javi Bulin was great, and they had some good defensemen too. I think Keith Carney was on that team. He played well. JJ Dagno, Gerald Didick. Yeah, they all played. They were great.
And that kind of showed itself in this series, in this game, going scoreless. It was a defensive showdown. Javi Bulin played great. Fuhr played great. I know when we had Fuhr on our show. Was a couple of seasons ago.
Last
summer, before COVID.
COVID makes it feel like it was about 10 years ago.
It was the summer before COVID. But yeah, and he talked about how great Javi Bulin was in this series, and in particular in this game.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if we really went over it so far yet, but I mean, this is part of Grant Fuhr lore in this game. Told the Blues, just get me one. Just get me one. That's all I need. And
right.
I mean, we've confirmed that story with Fuhr himself. Give me the game 7 and score a goal, basically, is what he said. We confirmed that with Fuhr, confirmed it with backup goalie Jamie McLennan. That is a very real conversation he told his players. And, obviously you can see here, he's already had some great moments here in this game.
Yeah, because you said you looked for it, that quote online. You couldn't find it.
No. There's a great save by Javi Bulin on Pronger from the point.
Yeah, with the redirect in front. Very reminiscent of the final play of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the Blues, you could tell in this game. I'm rewatching a little bit that I have when I posted it. The Blues really did seem to emphasize shots from the point, get guys in front and try to deflect. And right there, I mean, that makes you think, if only they had a guy like Keith Tkachuk. And he's on the other side of the ice right here. He ends up joining the Blues, obviously, but that's the type of player the team, I think, needed at this point. Jeff Courtnall was great at it. Pavel Dimitro was still a rising star, but I think you missed that one player that could stand in front of the net and cause havoc like that.
Yeah,
watching games with old games with Chris Pronger in it. It's just it just makes you mad that he was traded away for stupid reasons. It's like God.
It's just you look at the core of this team. This is, and remember, folks, this is the next season. They won the President's Trophy. The year after that, I still will say, if not the best team, the second best team the Blues have ever put together in 2001. The core of that team is here, and you can see it. I mean, the way they control the puck, the way that they forecheck, the way that they constant control. There's just, you can't get the pucks off their sticks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And Grant Fuhr in goal, I mean, he's not in his prime here, but he's still playing great at this point in his life.
You know what, though? He had his best numbers, stats-wise, goals against-wise, and save percentage-wise with the Blues.
I
So
should.
he was,
I didn't realize that would cut off real quick. I want to point out to especially our podcasters, we have jumped to 5 minutes remaining in the first period, so it's still 0-0.
nice.
Sorry, Kurt, you were saying.
What was I saying?
Grant Fuhr putting up good
Grant
numbers.
Fuhr. Oh yeah. He had. I mean, his numbers. If you look up, Hockey Reference, his entire career, his best goals against average was St. Louis. His best save percentage was St. Louis. He played on a much better defensive team than. Edmonton was amazing teams, but Blues had a better defense than Edmonton ever did.
I think you could argue
he thrived here.
The Blues probably that defense they had in this time frame matches any defense ever in the NHL with Pronger and McInnes back there. Plus, a couple years later, you had Bryce Salvador, who was a great defensive defenseman. Jeff Finley,
Jamie
Alexander
Rivers.
Havanov, Vladimir Cheba fucking Turkin.
Well, okay, you got the pillars. You got Pronger and you got McInnes, which did not play together. So you had basically you either had Pronger or McInnes on the ice at one time. Rarely on the ice was Pronger and McInnes not on the ice, which was big because both of them could control the ice, especially Pronger, control the play. So, and you had Rivers out there too. You had Finley out there. I think Finley was McInnes' partner, right? And then who was Pronger's? Was it Rivers?
At this point, it was
Pronger?
Pearson.
Pearson, that's right.
Yeah.
But this was his last season as a Blue.
Who is Rivers paired with here?
Rivers is with who's the other defenseman? Hang on, let me look. No,
with,
McAlpine. Chris McAlpine.
Finley was with
right.
McInnes.
Yeah, Finley McInnes. I tried to find the exact line so I could say that before the game started, but couldn't find him anywhere. But yeah, it's Finley McInnes, Pronger, and who'd we say?
Rivers
and Pearson. Rivers and McAlpine.
Right. And the biggest save in this game, from a Blues perspective, came from Jamie Rivers.
With the empty net.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. That's in this clip, so we'll see it. Right? Wasn't that overtime?
Yeah.
I
thought it was right at the end of regulation.
Oh, yeah, I think it was. I think you're right. Yeah, and that's in
Looking
here.
forward to that.
So we'll see it. Yep.
Dimitra.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, man.
Spoiler alert.
It's so sad.
Blues have the power play
Young.
here. Blues have the power play here. 3:30 left in the first period.
Dimitri
Still
Young and
0-0.
Turgeon. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dimitri Young, Turgeon, Pronger, and McInnes. How about that?
That's
Holy
fantastic.
shit.
That is a great power play line.
All those guys can shoot, and even Turgeon, but Turgeon can feed every one of them from anywhere on the ice.
My cousin Jeff, Bill, did he ever tell you this? That when because he hated the Blues, he was not a Blues fan at all. And when the Blues acquired, off the post, right?
Pipe.
Yeah,
Pipe.
Jeff
That's
Courtnall
post.
hit the post.
Courtnall hits the post
on the power play with 3 minutes left in the first.
When the Blues acquired Turgeon, he was ticked because he thought, there it is, that's the piece they need.
Yeah.
So he was very complimentary of Turgeon.
Yeah, no, I mean, Turgeon, again, at the time we appreciated him a lot, but I think not enough. Like he was another one of these guys that was just so underappreciated. And I think my favorite thing about him is that, when the goalies wanted to take a practice off, he had his own set of goalie gear and he would dress out as a goalie. And
who I heard else used to do that?
Things.
Another Canadians tie-in. I hear Mark Bergevin did that a couple times too. When he was with the Blues. Yeah, that's
Courtnall rocking those Nike gloves.
Right off the inside post as Courtnall's in the slot and just the one lucky thing that Javi Bulla needed in that game. That's the one time he needed some luck.
In the slot, on the edge of the circle, a one-timer from the corner, and just off that near post. And he had, I guess he had those the Nike glove era. I had those gloves.
Oh yeah, I had Nike
I loved
stick.
those things.
I had the aluminum stick.
The Nike stuff was good. It was comfortable. It was just rebranded Bauer, right? But it was
basically
good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think they used some baseball influence in terms of like feel and how it fit. But yeah, it was basically rebranded Bauer.
Those Nike gloves I had were some of the most comfortable gloves. Had a pair of Eastons too, back in when the Easton gloves first became a thing, with the huge knuckles.
I get made fun of on my ice hockey team because my ice hockey skates are still Eastons. I'm like, dude, the Easton skates are the best. I love those things.
I had a pair of Eastons. They never fit me right. I had Missions for a long time. Switched to Eastons, and they didn't fit me right. Sent them back and got the Missions again. Missions to me, it's for me personally, felt the best on my feet. Comfortable right out of the box.
Hey, just so you guys know, on Friday, the Red Wings and Avalanche play the West semifinals Game 1, and the East semifinals, the Penguins and the Maple Leafs. So make sure you tune in for that on ESPN.
I guess the Leafs didn't go very far.
Let me think. This year, 99. Their last series win was 0-2, I think. Was I? Am I right?
Let's
on
see.
that?
They
Go ahead and look it up.
Oh, they did. They went to the final, the conference final.
That's right.
Lost to Buffalo. Buffalo that year. So I stand
And
corrected.
Buffalo ended up going to the final with Dallas. That was the year Dallas.
Spoiler alert! Because the Blues are playing this Dallas after this game.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Maybe that was the next year. Maybe I was lying.
Bring on Brett Hall! Yeah.
Spoiler alert for something that says 1999 in the corner.
I'm watching it now. Well, may have some youngins in the audience that may not have, maybe a newer fan may not know who won in '99.
So I see in the YouTube chat here, Jason Miller, friend Crappy Goalie, says Nicky Cubibulin. So that's, there was a lot of different variations that we used to hear of his name. My one friend Sean, who's listened to the show from time to time, so I hope he's listening tonight, he used to call him Quabulin, and I loved that. I don't know why. So every time I see Hobby Bullen, I think Quabulin. There's a big save by Fior.
Yeah. On Kachuk, yeah.
Yeah,
Keith Kachuk when he was with the Coyotes before he came to the Blues.
Yep. Yeah, we're about to see it on replay here, folks. But yeah, it's he was right where he makes his money, right there in the kind of the side of the slot on the left face-off circle, and Grant Fior comes up big.
Who are the officials in this game?
It was
Mercury and Terry Gregson.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Man, Terry Gregson looked old when he was young. He looked like he had that.
Yeah, he definitely
face.
has the Gene Hackman effect.
Yeah, and he looked like Mr. Magoo, and
Dave Fior.
Mick Magoo was a ref in the NHL. It always fucked me up. Right?
So funny.
Oh shit!
That was a shitty angle on the replay.
I've got the scratches here. I should read these off. So the scratches for both teams. For the St. Louis Blues, Brad Shaw, Tony Twist, Tyson Nash, Jochen Hecht, Pascal Rayome, and Scott Pellerin, which I believe Pellerin was hurt, is the reason he didn't play.
Yeah.
Because he was having a big series before that.
Hecht was kind of young. Is that why you guys were?
Right?
Hecht was a rookie, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's why he didn't play.
Oh, here's the hit.
Here it is right here. The
Hatcher hit on Ronick that caused Ronick to have the broken jaw. Elbow right to the fucking face.
Right, and nothing wrong with leaving both of your feet to deliver that hit.
When you're 6'5".
Because the elbow was down. Right. The elbow was down.
6'5" and 305.
There's a video on YouTube that I shared with you guys. That showed after that hit showed Ronick wiggling grabbed his tooth and started moving his jaw, and his one side of his jaw was moving independent from the other because it was broken. Yeah, completely broken. But not just cracked, not just fractured or cracked. It was broken. It was detached from the other side of his jaw. You know
what I love about the Blues at this point is we just saw a play where they skate in with 3 forwards, and there was always one defenseman trailing the play, and that was every break-in. There was 4 guys coming in. And when you have guys like Pronger and McInnes, and even to a certain extent Jamie Rivers, and even Ricard Pearson, who like to join the play, you could get away with that because you got another defenseman back there who can stop a 2-on-1. And they did that all the time, and that's a Quenneville system. You saw it a little bit with the Blackhawks there, even later in his career of coaching, which he's still coaching, obviously. But, yeah, I love that about this Blues team.
Kachuk gives Fior a whack, after the
what a
save.
And
And then
Keith
Ponger's
Tkachuk making a whack on the goalie.
Yeah, and then Scott Young and Tkachuk are going to go at it. And of course, Tkachuk's going to go with Young. Tkachuk, for being a big guy, Tkachuk was not a tough guy.
Right.
No, I remember him getting his ass kicked a couple times.
Oh yeah, he's not a fighter at all.
Brendan Shanahan. Anyone?
Yeah,
Anyone?
yeah. Shanahan. Yep.
Shanahan destroyed him.
Yeah.
Oh. Like I mean, this was an era of fun goaltending, and this is a fun game to watch if you.
Well, this
like
is what they call the puck dead, or the dead puck era, which I loved. I loved this era of hockey. I thought this was the best.
This is
all the hooking and holding that you could get away with during this time frame. You water ski behind a guy and not get called.
I remember using a water ski and hooking a guy from behind and literally pulling myself up to the guy who has a couple steps on me and then getting even and almost hauling him down. No call. You could get away with so much with your stick. It's crazy.
So we're at the end of the first period here. 30 seconds left on the clock. Still 0-0. And Mike Eastwood.
Oh, Mike Eastwood.
Yeah, there's Mike Eastwood in the corner.
Do you know who that was? Mike
He's
Eastwood.
on the ice. He's on the ice, and there's not a face-off. Why is he out there?
That's a great point.
He was great at face-offs, and that was about it. One season, I think he had about 15 goals. That was the gist of his time.
I remember him and Michael Hanzus were always really good on the penalty kill together. Other than that, it was face-offs, and that was all he was good
and
for.
face-offs, right? Yeah.
Yep.
He always seemed to skate goofy, like he's skating with his knees buckled a little bit.
Yeah.
Odd.
Yeah, he did.
Like he wasn't a great skater. No score after the first period. Blues and Coyotes. Western quarterfinals, Game 7.
Yeah, I think so far, guys, we've been able to at least comment and make this fun, hopefully, for people. We're about to see some highlights here from the ESPN crew. A lot of physical stuff. Shane Doan, Jeff Courtnall going at it. Pronger, and I think that was Rick Tocchet. A lot of physical stuff going. But, guys, we are up against a break, so we are going to be taking a break here for our friends over at Center Ice Brewery.
Center Ice Brewery is St. Louis's only hockey-themed brewhouse. Stop on in during the next game to experience the ultimate hockey fan brewery while sampling various hockey-inspired beers, such as Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, the Rotating Pale Ale Series, or seasonal offerings such as their Imperial Stout, their Lime Sherbet Sour, and much more. While you're there enjoying any number of their fantastic beverages, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood and the actual penalty box door from the old barn. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game, or any game. Visit CenterIceBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in the tap room. Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. Please drink responsibly.
So we are back, and I want to go ahead and mention here, we are jumping to 4 minutes remaining in the third period. So again, we are at a 0-0 score. And Bill, what's that? We have changed broadcasts. This is Channel 11, I believe. We know it's Ken Wilson, but I believe it's Bruce Affleck also on the call.
I think you're right. And you can see you can see the Mystery Science Theater parody the bottom part there. It shows up better with the no bottom the bottom line on channel
bottom
11.
ticker. Yeah,
the ticker.
So yeah, this. So I will go ahead and tell everybody that we've got the Channel 11 broadcast until the end of this period, and then it switches back to ESPN. So you could thank. I said you could thank Bill, but Bill said you could probably thank his dad for the switch.
Yeah.
So again,
I was working this evening and relied on the parental units to record the game for me.
So we
are
are
up with multiple broadcasts.
We're at 3 minutes left in the third period, and obviously there's a lot in this game that's happened. There's a couple of recaps I think coming up you'll see, but I mean for the most part, it's been hits, it's been goalie saves. I mean, you can put this up for both goalies. You know, Hobby Bullen won a Stanley Cup in 2004, and obviously Grant Fuhr had some great years in Edmonton. But I think you can put this game right up there with any of their best games ever played. Both goalies, at the end of this game, both goalies faced 35 shots, and they both looked phenomenal on almost every one of them.
Yeah,
I guess this is something we have to look forward to as far as the league going back to ESPN next season. I mean, now we're on Channel 11 right now, but the rest of this game will be on ESPN2, the feed from there. So I think, and I really do hope they go back to their music that they used to use.
Agree.
They better.
Yeah, they teased that. They teased that when the announcement was made last year that their ESPN Plus is going to broadcast a ton of games next year. The big question that remains is how many games will they bring out Gary Thorne to do?
I would love it. Oh, I'd love it. He said he's open to coming back.
Yeah, he's retired, isn't he?
I know he was doing Orioles games.
I know he did baseball. I thought he was retired.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I think they can talk him into one game, and I would imagine that he would come back to do a winter.
Oh, look at that play! How is that not a penalty? Oh, it is a penalty.
No, it was offside.
I was offside. That's what it was. Yeah, Blair Atchingham pulled down at center ice with under about 2 minutes left. They're not calling that. They don't call that today. I think that's a questionable call now.
Let me see. Oh, that's got to be called today.
Yeah,
that's called today.
You think it's called today?
Bad.
It probably is.
I do. That's bad. That's a squad. He had the puck, and it's I mean, they're coming down 2-on-2. I mean, it's out in the open too. You can't miss it.
It's good looking Chris Pronger, somebody who, I mean, I just still marvel at. I still I think we're going to see some overtime here. Spoiler alert. And
What?
yeah, I know, crazy. And I just remember a couple times I was watching this when I was getting this posted on YouTube, and I just marvel at the way he controls the game. And that is still why I say he's the greatest Blue of all time, because the way he controlled the game, he just would get the puck and he would work it at his pace. And that's what I loved about him.
Not afraid to wield the stick to make sure people didn't get too antsy with him in his part, in his zone. Just love that about him. A lot of people are critical of Colton Parayko because that element is lacking in his game.
Well, and
everybody wants to make that comparison because of the size, but
yeah. That's the problem. People make the comparison because of the size, and it's just
he skates.
That's not like fair.
He skates he's probably a faster skater than Pronger was, but the way he moves on the ice is similar. Yeah. I made that comment when I first saw him in training camp before he made the team. I go out there and he was, God, he's huge. Reminds me of Pronger.
Oh.
And then
big save on. I think that was Dimitra.
Yeah,
Dimitra took the shot. Bartechko was in for the rebound, and Teppo Newman cleared it.
Less than a minute to go in the game, the third period.
Yep, 38 seconds left in the third period, still 0-0.
Yeah, and Jeff Finley's out there.
Of course he is.
McKinnis taking a bomb from fucking center ice. I love it.
Well, it worked on Osgood. Why not do it?
Yep.
That was a great goal. That's, you know what? If we had won that game, we lost that game.
Yeah, we ended up losing in overtime.
But McKinnis scoring from the red line on Osgood, less than a minute to go to tie the game in a fucking playoff game. That's insane. And then after it goes in, Courtnall with his arms in the air just glides by Osgood. You can see him lean over and say something to Osgood. I would love to get Courtnall on the show to ask him what he said to Osgood as he went by.
Yep. So at the end of the third period, we have now switched back to the ESPN feed. It is still 0-0, and we're going to overtime. So quite some good hockey played from both sides. I've got the stats here. So heading into OT, oh God, I can't do math. Let's just say third period. We've got Blues had 7 shots, Coyotes 13, and going into overtime, Grant Fuhr with 30 saves. So he's obviously dialed in and playing some good hockey. And we're looking at a save here from Hobby Bullen, just as good.
Yeah,
they went save for save on each other.
Is that Newman?
Yeah.
Even if Newman
Hello,
doesn't get
Newman.
Barteshko's way, yeah. Even if Newman doesn't check Barteshko there, Barteshko has a tough chance. It's like in an awkward position. He's got his blade turned over, toe on the ice. Yeah, and he's got a really difficult little chip chance there. That's tough.
You see some highlights here from the whole game from the ESPN footage. And again, just a lot of hits.
God, I love it.
Pronger screaming at the ref. It's good
God,
stuff.
I love it so much.
Yep.
That angered devil in his face that fear that you saw just by looking at him. He's pissed
So we have
off.
jumped to 5 minutes into overtime. So here we are again, 0-0 Blues and Coyotes, 1999, Game 7, Western quarterfinals. Number 21, there's Patrick Berglund, right?
Jamal Mayer's rookie year.
Yep,
Look at
Jamal Mayers.
Oh,
Greg Adams is now down, writhing in pain on the ice. The trainer is coming out.
The trainer's got there in a hurry. Holy cow. That was quick.
That guy knows how to run on ice, like Billy Joel. Anybody?
Oh, he's bleeding. I thought he was faking. He's bleeding.
Billy Joel song. Not funny. It's okay.
Yeah.
Running on ice? No, not funny.
Running on ice.
Ignoring your Billy Joel references.
I'd like to see a
he's
replay
got
of this.
Cut on
guys.
his face. I can't remember what happens here, so we'll have to take a closer look. I think it was a
Rick
skate.
Tocchet, arguing with McCreary, trying to tell him what happened.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Skate,
It was Jamal Mayer's skate. Yeah, it comes up here.
Oh,
gets him right in
yeah.
the face.
Oh, God.
He's reaching for the puck, and his skate just comes up and gets him right in the face.
Yeah, the skate it comes backwards kick up.
Yeah.
Oh, and the back end of the blade right in Newman's nose. Oh, my God.
That's brutal. I think it was Adams, Greg Adams.
I'm sorry, Adams. Yeah, Adams. Golly.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, later that night, John Buccigross said, when he came back, he's tough. He's a hockey player.
Yeah.
You see this stuff, and then he's going to get stitched up, and he'll come back, and then later on, he has to, embrace the loss as well. So he's got that on his face to deal with, and he lost the game too.
All right, so let's go ahead and ask this question. So obviously this is before social media, and we all know who the winner is. So let's exclude who scores the winner here. If there was a Butchie overtime challenge, who are you picking from each team to win this game?
Well, I mean, McInnes is
Young.
I was going to say Young. McInnes is the point leader for the Blues in the series, so you could say him. Dimitra. Man.
I think I would have said Dimitra and Kachuk. That would have been my team.
I think I would have gone with Ronick because of coming back from the injury first game.
Yeah, that'd have been a fun pick.
Although I don't know, Keith Carney. Keith Carney
would have been a good pick.
Smells like cabbage. It's another great John Buccigross reference. And,
yes, it is.
Sad that Keith Carney is retired now.
Maybe he's got like a nephew or a kid coming up. That'd be awesome.
Could be. I think we just want to watch the game now, right?
I'm getting sucked into the game. Yeah, exactly.
I'm dialed in, man. We got 13:40 left here in the first overtime.
Enthralled is the right word. You get sucked in. You just want to watch because you just.
Yep.
I don't know. And it's another thing with this era of hockey too. It's just fun to watch.
So we've jumped into 9 minutes remaining in OT.
You've got to shoot it. You've got to.
I'm sorry, 9 minutes into OT. So 11 minutes. The 11-minute mark. 11:04 is how much is left in the game.
I love being reminded that in overtime in the playoffs there are no TV timeouts.
Yeah, it's
so no commercials, except for the was it Midway? They do one.
Look at the battle there by Kachuk.
Yeah, scrape the ice.
Back then they didn't even do that.
No, not then they didn't. But I'm saying now they scrape the ice. That's the only commercial you get. Yeah, it's the only commercial you get, and I love it because overtime you think, oh, periods typically last 45 minutes. Nah, overtime playoff periods might last half hour, 35 minutes.
And I want to point out to everybody listening live right now, Let us know what you think about this. If this is something you're actually having fun, you're enjoying watching the game with us, and then podcasters later as well, let us know. So if you enjoy this, we'll do it again. We'll pick another good game from the Blues past.
Jason Miller says, yeah, guys, shut up so we can watch LOL. Trying to listen to the song.
Trying to listen to the fucking song. Yeah, this battle here from Tkachuk. I mean, not a great shot on goal, but I mean, just the drive he has to try and get that puck in. That's why I was so excited when the Blues acquired him 2 years later.
Yeah, and you talked about needing that guy to go to the front of the net, and we acquired him, and then you get the one full season with McInnes before he winds up missing a lot of time with that eye injury. Just pretty sad timing wise, but
yeah, agreed. Jyrki Lume, there's another good defenseman for the Coyotes.
I've seen a lot of pressure from the Blues in overtime. Phoenix has had some chances, but they've been kind of on the rush. The Blues have been the team that have seemed to have had the setup camp, in the offensive zone.
And then Pryor turns the puck over. Pryor turns the puck over right at the blue line.
Nice. And then Sports Talk Radio. Pryor fucking sucks. Get him off the ice.
Yep.
Still remember going to games not long after Pryor was acquired, and fans yelling shit like "hit him with your purse" and how it took so long for people to get over the Shanahan trade.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think a lot of fans ever did. You go to games well into when he was arguably the best defenseman in the game, and you'd hear people yelling shit in the stands against him. It was just absurd.
Look at Pavel Dimitra. I mean, again, that guy was so good at just finding open space. He would just skate in. Well, there's Michel Picard there too.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Great hands, terrible speed.
Yeah.
This is watching this and the little scrambles, the loose puck plays where you're diving for a puck and you just can't get a handle on it and guys are sliding in the way. Heart-stopping stuff around the net. Makes me nervous now. I know who won.
Got some mic'd up moments here. Are you kidding?
Are you kidding me? Is that Drake? That was Drake, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Drake was.
Yeah, that was always the mouthiest player on the ice.
Oh my God, Drake. That was a. Woo.
Yeah, that was Bartechko with a wraparound.
Bartechko and who's the defenseman there? I can't make it out. He was sliding back. I think he might have got that, but.
JJ Daniel, former Canadian, former Blue at this point.
Didn't who scored on Kelly Rudy in the illegal stick game in overtime? Was it Daniel?
Desjardins. That was Eric Desjardins.
Yeah, I knew it was a
it was a hat trick game for him.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite defensemen until he got traded to Philadelphia, and then couldn't stand him. Yeah, Jason Miller just said he likes Fuhr getting a stick up to protect himself. And that was the instinct, right? The goalies knew in overtime in a playoff game, somebody's going to try to come get you. And, you don't see that much these days. But, yeah, Fuhr had been around quite a while at this point, and he knew what was coming.
By the way, I should have asked you guys, is anybody on the Facebook chat? I have not even looked.
I am. I'm looking at it. Jason Miller said, just got here and ready to go. Should be fun. That was a while back.
Oh, well, that was, now he's in the YouTube chat, so we're good.
Right. All the cool kids are in the YouTube chat tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Rico Pearson.
Does he play a big moment?
Reminds me of young Tito Landrum.
Hey, let me ask
Craig
you guys
Conroy,
a
man.
trivia question because I did not remember this. Who's the backup goalie for the Coyotes right here?
Bill enough. I don't know.
This is 99.
Sean Burke.
No. Although Sean Burke is a solid answer. One of my favorite all-time goalies,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. Jeff Hackett?
No, sir. Kurt, would you like to venture a guess?
I'm drawing a blank on who it could be.
Russian. Does that help? Fellow Russian.
Fellow Russian in 99.
99.
I think eventually played for the Anaheim Ducks, or maybe he already did at this point. I can't remember, but I know he was a Duck at some point.
Not Brizgalov. This is way
No.
too early for Brizgalov.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. Let me check.
In this game?
Yeah.
Oh,
See, I was thinking like maybe a Wait, but he's not Russian.
yeah.
No,
Jimmy
not,
Waite.
Not Jimmy Waite.
Jimmy Waite would be a good one.
Yeah, he was a Duck. Yeah, he was a Duck, an Oiler, and a Coyote, and a Panther.
No.
Mikhail Shtalenkov.
Okay. Yeah. That is a deep cut kind of name.
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't have got that. I couldn't have pulled that name out of the fire.
Yeah, yeah, that was one. That's one of my favorite hockey names of all time. So when I saw he was back up here, I was like, oh,
Whoa.
all right. Good chance there.
Oh,
Terry
Terry
Yates.
Yake, who I am going to go ahead
Terry
and
Yake.
tease to you all, future friend of the show for Let's Go Blues Radio, Terry Yake.
oh, that's offside. Yeah, it's funny. Isn't that funny how you're like you yell at the TV? That's offside. Call it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, I yell
your
that on
hand
the
up.
I yell that on the bench when I'm playing hockey. I yell that at the ref like our team went offside, and I just go, "That's offside," and I go, "Wait a minute, shush, shut up."
While we're teasing stuff, we could say that we are scheduled to be on the Puck Stories podcast.
That's right.
In August, first week in August, where we're going
August
to
4th is when we're going to do
August
it.
4th,
Yeah.
we're going to reminisce about the 95, 96 season.
And for those that don't know what Puck Stories is, it's basically drunk history for hockey. So they're literally going to make us get drunk, and we're going to recap the 95-96 season.
And they'll ask us questions, and so it'll be fun. That's the season where we acquired Gretzky, and that was the Yzerman, the matchup against the Red Wings, the fantastic series, the double overtime.
I'm just going to go ahead and say now.
There's going to be crying. There's going to be crying. It's
No, you know what?
guaranteed.
There's going to be. There's going to be so many. How many times we should count? How many times we all say "fuck Kiprios"?
Yeah. Yeah. That there. You've got that guarantee, and then the
There's a lot of
Yzerman
stuff
goal.
that happened.
I mean,
A lot of
right,
stuff that
you know,
happened that season, that series, that playoff.
Yeah. I remember a friend that I haven't kept in great touch with. Once we got all grown up and stuff. That Game 7 against the Wings, hanging out with her and a few other people at a friend of a friend's house that turned out to be, now I think it's a mansion in O'Fallon, Illinois, that is now a restaurant, or was a restaurant. At this point, they might have knocked it down for all I know. But watch the game there, and just, we caught up by email after the Blues won, and I relayed to her that what a terrible, how long it took me to get over that moment of the Yzerman goal, and it took the Blues winning the cup to do it. So I'm sure that's something we will talk about.
Jason Miller, I've never been more depressed than after the 95-96 season, and I think we can all agree that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. They just put a stat on the screen. Pronger, up to this point in the game, has played 43 minutes.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
that's over.
Dude
that's
was
over
just
half,
a machine,
over half,
and he doesn't. I mean, no, we've seen players do that now. Even Justin Falk had a game where he was playing half the game or more.
Wait, why is Demetra still playing without his helmet? He's got to get off the ice.
Yeah,
43 minutes is
not now.
43 minutes is over half the game. If this overtime is complete, there was 7 minutes left in this overtime when that stat went up. So he played well over half the game so far. It's crazy.
Well, you got to figure at this time, and that's what I loved about Joel Quenneville, was if Pronger wasn't on the ice, McInnes was. It was all at this point in the game, one of them was on the ice at all times. And that's how you win Stanley Cups. And that's why this team should have at some point with Quenneville as coach.
They had the goaltending, they had the defense, they had it. They had enough. And like we've talked about before, they just didn't have the intangibles, the luck factor. They didn't get the bounces. They didn't get that big play needed in a very tight series. It just didn't come together for this team. And then it happens. And you've got to be lucky to advance all the way to the cup at some point. And these teams, the Quenneville teams, just couldn't get that luck, that bounce when they needed it.
Woo. Blair Scratching 'em. One of the best nicknames.
I think he might disagree. Oh yeah, this is. I think he took a puck. I think to the chest or something here, and he's down. I mean, this is Keith Carney here. Another Coyote getting hurt in this game.
He also isn't
bleeding.
Bloody nose, yeah, nothing new.
Yeah, that's from the Scratching 'em hit.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's got no incentive to get up because I mean they could just rest, they could get some rest.
Yeah, and if you notice there in that brief flyby, the kind of distant shot of the Coyotes bench with Dallas Drake there, a Stan Neshcash. There it is. Stan Neshcash.
Stan Neshcash.
Oh, man.
One of the weirdest spellings. How do you get Neshcash out of that?
Right. It's
Neckar. Neshcash.
Right. That shows you how much he had played. They sent him out, hey, Carney's injured. You're going to need to go warm up.
Yeah.
Man.
Like he's a relief pitcher.
Right.
Get out there, skate around. You might actually see some ice time.
He's not. How do you spell that? Neckar?
Are you? Oh my. Okay. Do you want to know how much ice time Stan Neshcash had in this game? This is according to Hockey Reference. 27 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally played 27 seconds in this game.
So one shift.
One shift.
Half of a shift. Yeah, how do you get Neshcash out of that spelling? My God.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's Neckar.
It's Neckar, yeah.
That's Neckar. So it's 5 minutes left in overtime, so we're getting close to a big moment here. This is
that's coming.
This is good stuff. Yep. Because it does not go into 2 overtimes.
It does not.
For a while, you're thinking, oh, maybe it will. Although
I remember at this point, watching this game, I'm like, neither goalie is going to give up a goal. It's just not going to happen. We're going to be playing this game in 2 years.
Usually, overtime start off with a lot of chances, and then things calm down a little bit nowadays, where you don't get maybe as much later. But this whole period's been like, chance.
Yep. And then you see Pierre Turgeon just trying his best, his damnedest, to get the puck to the middle. And both, I think that was Courtnall and Young, just crashing the net, hoping to get something.
It is
Pronger making his home run pass.
Awesome. There is something, like we talked about, 2-on-1.
Big save. Big save. Nikolai Hobby-Bolin. Lubos Bartechko banging his stick. Banging his stick on the boards. Friend of the show, Lubos Bartechko. You're right.
Bartechko on a 2-on-1
big save.
with
should have ended it there.
Hanzus to Bartechko. Oh my God!
And Nikolai Hobby-Bullen just standing strong.
I mean, he was that pass was
unbelievable.
perfect. Across over the down stick of the defenseman, and all alone, one timer. Just
He had to lift that pass, right?
Yeah,
he did. He lifted
It was
it. And I mean,
beautiful.
it landed flat on Bartichko's blade and nothing.
now the only thing about it, he didn't get it up, but still he
That's
put it right.
one
Okay,
time.
first off, he put it back into Hobby Bullen.
He did.
Right.
We had a lot to shoot.
You got to
at,
go
but-
short
Which is-
side there.
Which is why
Yeah,
he's
you have
pissed.
to.
He knows it. He knows he should have gone short side. But
Although
still, great
you know what?
positioning by Hobby-Bullen.
At least he got it on net, because if he misses the net, it's even worse.
Yeah. By the way, I want to point out the board advertisement behind Hobby-Bullen. Surge Soda. I miss Surge.
It came back.
It came back, but it's
For-
gone again.
Yeah. Or was it? Yeah, Surge came back, right?
Yeah, it was Surge.
Yeah.
I was saying
yeah.
I treated myself to one a week. I said every Friday I could have one.
Oh,
And then I was so disappointed the day I went back into Quick Trip, and they were like, "Oh no, we don't sell that anymore." And I'm like, "No!"
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that
this
was
is a beautiful
during
pass.
this era.
beautiful.
God,
Oh, that should have went in.
That
That
should have
should have
been
been a
the
goal.
game.
That should have been a goal.
Yeah. But on the topic of Surge Soda, during this
Look
era,
at Ronick.
I
Ronick
was
just-
working
oh,
at a
shit.
coffee shop. Yeah. We used to sell Surge Soda Friday afternoon. We'd have these gamers come in, and they'd order a 32-ounce Surge Soda and have us put 2 shots of espresso into it.
Oh,
And it's like you're a step away from meth at this point. Just go ahead and take the dive.
They just showed Joel Quenneville with a non-gray mustache.
yeah.
Interesting.
You know what my brother and I called him at this point? Joel, even my wife can't make me smile, Quinville. He never fucking smiled. I swear the first time I ever saw him smile was when they won this game. Oops, sorry everybody. Fuck off. You should know what the score is at this point. It's been a long time.
We're not.
And why
we're not gonna
why
do-
would we be watching this game if it
Right.
wasn't a win for the Blues?
Yeah. No. Why
we're-
go through
we're not
agony?
setting us up for disappointment.
Yeah,
If
we're
we're
not going
gonna
to
do
watch
that, it'd be the Red
we're not
Wings
going to
game.
watch Game 7 from '96 in one of these. No way.
You know what? We could watch, like, it happened early in the second overtime. We could watch I wouldn't mind doing that. Because we won a cup. If we hadn't won a cup since then, I'd be
Yeah,
like,
it's
no,
true.
I don't wanna do that. We've won a
No.
cup. We can relive it. We can't wait.
If we did it, we would have to at the very end tack on Pietrangelo lifting the cup. I would just
right.
It's the only
It's
way
okay.
I can live with that.
Oh,
Blues have just dominated this overtime.
they have, and the ice has been tilted. They've had the best chances. And a lot of stuff like that, like loose pucks that just guys falling down and just can't get a stick on it. Tons of that stuff, all around the net.
Oh, puck goes in the slot for the Blues. You got to worry there. But yeah, those are those
Always.
moments I remember as a kid, just being like, and like not
Yeah, I
being
know.
able to breathe until the Blues cleared the puck out of the front of the slot.
There's McInnes. Oh,
Craig
Conroy in the
Conroy.
corner.
Big fan of his.
Oh, another great chance there.
Kachuk and Ronick are out right now. Ronick.
I mean,
the
see, he's
most
still got
I've-
the hands, but you can tell he's just a
little
little
bit.
off.
A little bit. That's the most I've seen him do in these clips you've shown.
Guys, we've got a big moment coming here.
Here it comes. Hans is behind the net.
Let's just,
Is Young behind the net?
Let's just let you all enjoy it.
There it is.
Here we go. Let's do this.
Yeah. Gary Thorne got it right. Ken Wilson kind of
Ken
did.
Wilson did not.
No. It may have been deflected.
Yeah, Gary Thorne was all over that. He knew right away.
I think Wilson.
Because you
Wilson
gotta
said
figure,
Pearson, and I think he
that's-
probably said someone in his ear probably said no. I think it was probably tip deflected.
And you got to figure too that I mean the way Nikolai Hobby-Bullen's playing in this game, he's not giving up a crazy dumb little shot from Pearson. He's
Right.
it's got to be deflected.
They're going back and forth, showing the Blues and showing the Coyotes, and the dejected look of the Coyotes. You got Drake with his nose packed from the shot he took earlier. He's just like a battle-bloodied warrior. That's got to be rough, man. And the Schoenfeld gets fired like the Monday after this game because his job was on the line. He guaranteed to win. They had to win, and it lost.
And again,
so he's walking on the ice thinking, "I'm done. I've lost."
At the time, I laughed at him, but I look now and I just say, "God, I feel bad." He did. I feel like he did the right thing to motivate his team.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't feel bad that he got fired. I mean, he didn't really. I mean, he was.
No, he deserved it. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, his teams didn't go anywhere.
But at the same time, Bobby Smith is the GM of the Coyotes at this point. Another one of those great, Canadiens legends from the late 70s, early 80s. He didn't get a job after this. I can't remember him being around a hockey team since then.
No,
so,
me neither.
And it's a shame because, I mean, this was a damn good team. This was a very competitive era of the NHL. And it just didn't break for them.
You talk about the playoff futility of the Coyotes franchise. They haven't. I mean, what they've won a playoff like in years that they've won a playoff round. What was it, like 3, 4? Let me see. Let's go back and look at their stuff here. Back it up because they haven't really done much. And you feel for their fans.
They went to the Western Final in 09.
Right. Oops, that's Blues history, not that one. God damn it! I hate it when you get before you click on a link and the ad pops up at the top of the screen and pushes everything down, and you click on the wrong link. Like mother.
Again, man, Pierre Turgeon, just one of the most underrated Blues of all time. Always one of my favorite players, and just a beautiful tip.
Oh God,
just
a beautiful tip.
The angle from behind the goal, which they're going to show right now. This is it.
Yeah.
Where the puck comes in front, he settles it, he corrals it, he whips it on net. Pearson does, and then Turgeon just sticks his stick out and whips it. Yeah, no, pushes it far post.
And just before the shot, right, the way that Pearson corralled that, if he misses that, he's got Kachuk barreling down the other way.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and Kachuk barreling. Somebody could probably catch him, but
Schoenfeld.
But the one that would have had the best chance was Pearson. I don't think Pearson catches him.
Yeah.
Schoenfeld was wanting a high stick there at the end.
Yeah, he kept calling for it, but
it wasn't even close. It was like waist high. It wasn't even close. Maybe a little above waist. So they lost. Let's see, 1-1. Let's see this. Okay, in 2012 they lost in the conference finals.
And man, that celebration from Turgeon, that's something I will remember forever.
3 years.
That's etched in my memory.
I know the jumping.
Yep.
I think. Am I right here in saying that there's only been 3 years where the Coyotes have won a playoff round? Yeah, since they came in the league in 79-80. 79-80 they came in the league, and so it's been 40 years, and they've only won a playoff round in 3 seasons. I think.
Well, that is it, folks, for our in-game commentary. The Mystery Hockey Theater. Again, please let us know, even if you're especially if you're podcasting, what you thought. If this was something you enjoyed, we will gladly do this again. But it was just a matter of this was a test run. We had fun, right? I know the three of us had fun.
Oh yeah.
But I want to make sure everybody else did. So if you're listening and you enjoyed this, please let us know. We will gladly do another one of these because these are a lot of fun to do for us.
Right, because if you decide that you don't like this on the podcast front, we're going to get together and drink beer and watch these old games together anyway.
Yeah, right. And we'll go on Discord or something, right? That's the way to do it.
Right.
Ken Wilson said at the end of this game, Ken Wilson said after they scored, he goes, "Bring on Brett Hull and the Dallas Stars." So the Blues wanted to play Dallas after this series, and they lost in 6 games, which was a very competitive series. Holy cow!
2 games went, or 2 or 3 games went to overtime.
I think it was 3 or 4 games went overtime, and a bunch of 1-goal games, and Brett Holt torched them.
That was the series. I don't know if I think I've told this on the show before, where my sister was not a Jeff Courtnall fan. She did not like him. She hated his game. She said he was cheap and just wasn't a fan. And
He's not wrong.
Which he was. Yeah, he was. And when I think it was Pavel Demitra scored game 4, that was the game we were at. And she had been bitching about Courtnall the whole game. Courtnall got an assist. And these two guys behind us, older guys, like in their 40s, my sister's probably 16 at this point. They dump both their beers on her. They just dump them and then they run away. And like,
they ran away.
Yeah, just ran away. Like the game was over, so they just ran away. And like, my brother and I look at each other, and I'm younger. I'm 99. I would have been 14. And I look at my brother, and he's 24. And we both kind of like snicker at each other, because it's like, what the fuck just happened? And my sister's like, what the hell? Go kick their asses. And so we were like, yeah, okay. So we like both like turned to like find them, and they're gone. They had already gone down the tunnel. They were gone.
Bunch of manly guys there.
And I'm like,
holy 16-year-old,
shit.
And then running away.
Yeah, right.
Jeez.
Yeah. And like my brother and I were like, oh yeah, I guess she's right. We probably should go kick their asses, but they're already gone. There's nothing we can do. So yeah, ending stats of this game, 35-35 were the shots. Obviously, Grant Fuhr gets the shutout, and Nikolai Hobbyblon goes 34 for 35. Power plays, both teams 0 for 4. Blues out hit the Coyotes 36-30. I hate giveaways and takeaways. I'm not even going to mention those. Blocked shots, Blues blocked 13, Phoenix blocked 14. Both teams had 10 penalty minutes. In this game, Al McInnes led the team with 5 shots on goal. Grant Fuhr, again, 35 for 35, his 6th playoff shutout. Rick Tocchet led the Coyotes with 6 shots on goal. And Nikolai Hobbyblon, or Quabulin, or whatever Butcher Cross called him, 34 for 35 on the night.
When Turgeon scored the goal, I was living in. Am I choppy right now because my video's choppy?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Your voice is fine. Your video's choppy.
Yeah, it's fine. I can see it's choppy. I'm sure it'll clear up. But when Turgeon scored, I was living in an apartment at the time, and it was a late game because it was a Phoenix in Phoenix, and went to overtime. So it's after midnight probably. And when they scored, I was just yelling and screaming. And Teresa was in the basement, like a floor and a half down or 2 floors down, doing laundry. And she said
Kurt's
she could hear me in the
wife
basement
at the time.
At the time, yeah. So she could hear me yelling and screaming. And you probably woke up half the apartment complex. I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
I called my brother right away, and he answered the phone. Let's go Blues.
Yep.
Yeah, and it probably, thinking about the context of that too, right? I remember waking my parents up. So this recording, I probably was the one that switched it from KPLR back to ESPN for the overtime, because I was probably afraid that KPLR was going to go to the news or something. So,
that's a good call.
But
yeah.
I was. I remember, waking my parents, screaming when that puck went in the net, and they were pretty angry. But
come on,
of course I'm gonna scream.
Get over it.
Come on,
get over it. No, that Kurt, your story about the apartment complex, that reminds me when Magnus Payarvi scored against the Wild in overtime. That was the same thing for me. I was living in Manchester in an apartment complex, and the Blues won that game, and I screamed and was like, oh my God, I just lost it for a good 15 seconds. Did you see that? Oh my God, Magnus Payarvi. And
of all people.
Yeah. And my wife was like, I think you just woke everyone up. I'm like, I don't fucking care. They should be up watching this game. You know,
What
so
the
yeah,
fuck
it's
is
the
wrong
same
with
way.
them?
Yeah, right. It's their problem. No, that was again, that was fun for us guys. I really enjoyed it, and to kind of reminisce and have the nostalgia. But yeah, again, what a team that was. They were so much fun to watch.
Maybe I think we'll do this again. The Roar Bacon game would be a fun one to do.
Oh yeah.
I do not have that on my YouTube channel, but if we can find it, I'm all for it.
We'll have to find it.
Yeah, that'd
somewhere.
be fun. For sure.
That could be within the range of just being available to us on NHL NHL.tv.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've got the off-season package. I'll see. If it is, then yeah, we should definitely do that. That'd be a lot of fun. Boys, you ready for some rapid-fire hockey tidbits? Or
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So, a lot of real Central Division news here. And before we get into that, I should mention, I don't know if you guys saw, that the NHL did officially announce that we will be back to regular divisions this year. And Arizona, which was previously announced, Arizona will be joining the Central Division.
And that's something that we expected and
right
pretty much knew was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, except for some people. Some people were like, "Oh no, the North wants you keep these divisions," and they're talking about in the NHL executives are talking about, keeping the way things the way they are. You know what I'm talking about.
Kurt,
people who claim to
have
sources but do not.
Stay off the dark web of Twitter.
It's just people just like to say they have sources and they don't, and they just make up stuff.
Kurt has a hard time staying off the dark web when it gets DM'd to him all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Right. It is hard when you were always involved because some guy cannot leave you alone.
Yeah, I mean,
it happens.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah, well, you're cute. It works.
Right.
Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks back in the news. We mentioned a couple weeks ago, trying to move Duncan Keith. Well, guess what? It happened. The Blackhawks have traded Duncan Keith and minor league forward Tim Soderlund for defenseman Caleb Jones and a 2022 conditional third-round pick. Kurt, please hold your sighs until I'm done reading. Keith waived his no movement clause for the deal to work, says Edmonton was his first choice to go to. If Edmonton wins 3 rounds in the 2022 playoffs, that conditional third-round pick becomes a second-round pick. And no salary was retained by Chicago. Keith has 2 years left on his 13-year contract, and his cap hit is at $5.538 million. Kurt, please, I am dying to know. What do you think about this?
I don't think Ken Holland can be an executive in the cap era. He sucks. This is awful. This is terrible. You give up assets for and Chicago doesn't retain salary for a guy who's declining. I don't know.
That's the part that blew my mind.
I don't get that at all.
I was fine with the return. That didn't bother me in terms of just, okay, let's take on some salary, whatever. But you've got to say, hey, hold back 20% at least of a salary or something. And there was nothing.
He made the comments he made were like he's constantly trying to justify this trade and saying dumb stuff. He needs to stop talking. He sounds stupid. With the reasons, the rationale he's giving. He even made a comment. I think he said, "This almost his exact words." He says, "And I do believe he was their number one defenseman over there." And I'm like, "You believe you acquired this guy?" And the comment you make is, "I believe he was there." I mean, you've done research. I know you have, and you're not. You act like you're not sure if what minutes he played. That's weird. It's weird to me. I don't know.
Right. And their only playoff appearance in the last 4 years was because they, got in by the grace of the bubble last year. I mean,
didn't they beat Edmonton to get in?
I think they did
in the play-in round.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure for 3 games, Duncan Keith was fantastic.
Right. To Kurt's point, though, if you're Ken Hallen, you just shut the fuck up and let the human interest, right? Let the human interest side of the story, Duncan Keith being able to be guaranteed to be back in Canada so he doesn't have to be away from his young son for months at a time. Right. Let that do the talking, not, this guy's going to put us over the top and, that conditional pick, we're definitely going to be giving away that third round pick or that second round pick. No, Duncan Keith is not going to make the Oilers that much of a better team that they're actually going to win a playoff round.
Yeah. I agree.
Why couldn't Ken Hallam doing this stuff when he was with the Wings?
Yeah,
because
and in the Central Division,
it's
right.
a cap era thing, I think. Because outside the cap era, he could just throw money wherever. He could just cover mistakes, but he can't do it now.
I mean, he was good until they cracked down on cap circumvention.
That
right?
was the big thing that I think switched the way he was as a GM.
Right. And that's kind of the irony of this whole deal is, Duncan Keith is a 13-year deal that he signed 11 years ago, and Ken Hallen's willing to pick it up. I don't know. There's some hidden irony in there to me. That
As Bart Simpson would say, the ironing is delicious.
Stop helping out the Blackhawks. Stop helping them.
Well, and let me ask you guys this, and we don't have to get too much into this. I know there was some news that came out. If you haven't read, please do, about Brent Sopel, member of the Blackhawks from 2010, a story we mentioned a couple weeks ago about the sex scandal. He said that every player on the team knew what was going on. So I just want to say, in terms of that, is this Stan Bowman's last move as a Chicago Blackhawks GM?
Apparently
my question is it fucking better be. That's what I say.
I don't. It's so, who knows? That whole thing was a mess. You're protecting a video guy. Why he's a video guy? Who the fuck cares about a video? Throw him under the bus. I mean, especially if he is guilty of this stuff.
Then literally throw him under the bus.
Get him out. I mean, say, here he is. Take him. He did this. We this is what we know. Here, take him. You're hiding, covering stuff up. Now, whoa, he's a video coach. He's making your whole organization look bad. Why? Over a video coach? It's so stupid.
And then the idea,
dime a dozen.
Somebody had the idea to say, the way that we get him out of the organization is by just, giving him a letter of recommendation to his next gig where he goes and, abuses a high schooler.
Yeah. That's the part that makes me sick.
To me, that's criminal.
Yeah, criminal. I agree with Kurt. Yep. That is the criminal part of what the Blackhawks did. And I'm not just saying this because it's the Blackhawks. Any team, if the Blues did this, I would be all over it. Hey, every single person who knew anything, get them out of here. I don't want them involved in this organization at all.
If it comes out that Bowman knew and was actively, not ignoring it, then I can see heads rolling, him not being there. But I guess. I mean, that hasn't been said. Who knows what? I mean, I'm sure he'll deny it.
It's been said that apparently he was told and he swept it under the rug.
Okay. Well,
now, whether that is true or not is what is still being figured out.
If that's true, then I think he's gone before the season starts.
He's got to be. Again, I think they're doing a investigation still. It's still ongoing. But yeah, if he is found to be guilty of that, if he's not gone, I hope there's riots in Chicago to remove that motherfucker, because that's not cool.
No, fans will Chicago fans will just look the other way and stop paying attention to the Blackhawks like they do when they don't win. Chicago.
I don't know.
They'll be Cubs fans for a year or two, or maybe it'll be the Bulls or the White Sox.
This is a new era in the world. I know we like to shit on Chicago sports fans, but I feel like they won't let that fly. There's no way.
Let's hope not. But Jason Miller makes a pretty good point in the YouTube chat. I love hockey, but it's an old boys club, and they'll protect each other to the death.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's a private organization. They're not, they are not beholden to shareholders, right? They have enough of a spin machine. At least Gary Bettman will spin it to the point that he's not going to give up one of his favored guys. I mean, how many Winter Classics and outdoor games have the Hawks been given? Because
why the fuck is the NHL not launching their own investigation? That is still baffling to me. What the hell are you doing?
If this becomes a criminal thing, then I don't think it matters. But if it's not a criminal investigation, then I can totally see the whole the boys club thing coming into play. Criminal wise, it doesn't matter. If it's a criminal investigation, it shouldn't matter. But if it's more internal, or if it's more whatever external, where there's no criminal stuff involved, I can totally see people just like hush, cover it up, whatever, protect each other.
It should be interesting to see when September rolls around and we start seeing the GMs kind of have to come out of the woodwork and have to start taking questions. It should be interesting to see, because somebody is eventually going to bring this up, whether it's a reporter or a fan when they do the season ticket questionnaire thing. It's going to come up eventually. Stan Bowman, did you know about this? Why did you cover it up if you did? It'll be interesting to what he says. If it's a no comment, I think that's kind of damning, but I feel like that's the only way he can really go at this point. If he is truly guilty of knowing about this and not doing anything about it.
Well, I mean, what's happened with all the other allegations? I mean, it's been a bad PR circle for the NHL the past couple of years with abuse allegations and all this crap. Nothing serious has ever happened. I mean, as far as like fallout goes, right? I mean, has there? I'm trying to remember if anything happened with the people accused of doing this, doing that. It's all accusations. People may step down or whatever, but it's like, I don't know.
David Frost.
That was one. Yeah, that's different.
That's way different.
That's a player and someone who is not involved. It's not an NHL guy. He was He's a minor league coach for a while and trainer or whatever he was, agent. That's a little different.
So moving on, talking about the Minnesota Wild. In somewhat of a surprising move, the team that signed Zach Parise and Ryan Suter to matching deals on the same day just a couple years ago, they have bought out Zach Parise and Ryan Suter. 4 years remaining on each of their contracts. The Wild will pay $6.7 million over the next 8 years and be charged with $7.371 million, and then $7.371 million, and again the same price in the next 4 years, respectively, for each. Then $833,000 a cap hits the 4 years after that for each. So basically, what that amounts to is the Wild will be paying a lot of money and we'll see a minimal cap space over the next 8 years for buying both these players out. I was not surprised by the Zach Parise buyout. I thought Ryan Suter still had plenty of good, maybe 2 good years left. And I know we've seen some analytics come out over the last couple days that Ryan Suter has 1 good year left, according to the charts. But I thought Ryan Suter still has plenty to contribute to your team when you're on an uprise and you're trying to win a cup. That was one that shocked me. I did not expect to see both of them bought out.
Yeah, no. To me, it was more, a GM trying to signal end of an era. We're moving on. We tried that big free agent splash. I mean, think back to that, right? That free agent period where are those two guys? Like those were the two big guys. And when Minnesota came out, you're like, oh wow, Minnesota just made the move. And you thought for sure that they were going to be, perennial, if not, in the cup final, perennial conference champions, because they had seemingly won that free agency period. And now it just seems like, well, if we're going to buy one out, we're going to buy both out and just say, that era is behind us. And, I think you made this point the other day, this is, Bill Guerin's team now, right? We're beyond, the Fletcher and I forget who it was that actually signed them, but, we're moving on from that. And that it's a bold move. Expensive move. I agree with you, that I think Parise makes a lot of sense. He seemed to be the one that dropped off the most, and you get more out of Suter. The other side of that coin is Suter's gonna be able to contribute to another team on the cheap this year, because he's still gonna get paid. So interesting.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him.
Yeah, I'm always impressed when other teams buy out contracts, which is something the Blues don't do. So it's interesting to see that happen. And oh, teams do that. But yeah, I think Suter. A lot of people are saying, like you said, that the analytics show him falling off soon. But there's some people that want to give Suter, bring him in here because he'd be a guy that would help us out next year, and I think he would help us out next year. But beyond that, I mean, how old is he? 36. He's 36.
He is 36.
Yeah. Beyond that, I mean, you're put a 38-year-old guy. It's like, oh my gosh, that's how long. I mean, there's a track record for players that don't, their performance falls off, and 36, 37, 38, that's it. I mean, the production drops off dramatically.
Well, and let's not forget about the abundance of left-handed defensemen this team has.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Vince Dunn, I think pretty much every Blues fan has accepted at this point that he's probably going to get moved this year, whether in the expansion draft or on a trade. And then you've got guys like Marco Scandella, Torrey Krug, Jake Wallman, right? He's left-handed, correct? And then I know Perunovic is left-handed, and he's coming up this year, probably going to make the team. So signing another left-handed defenseman, a guy that, yes, can play top 4 minutes for sure. But I think if you're going to do that, you've got 3 or 4 other moves you've got to make. Because we know that Armstrong likes to have his balance of left-handed and right-handed defensemen. I don't know. I don't see it happening, but if it does, I'd be okay with it. But you got to make a couple other moves. There's way too many lefties on this team.
Speaking of Vince Dunn, are we going to talk about the hot topic today?
Sure. Go ahead.
About Calgary. Go ahead. About how the rumor is that Calgary is not interested in moving Matthew Tkachuk this offseason. However, if the Blues were to offer Tarasenko, Dunn, and a prospect, that might be enough to make that deal happen this offseason. And that was coming from Rutherford. And according to the sources he has. So that information came from somewhere, a trusted source that he has. So that was very interesting to me.
The question that comes from that is, do you make that move now? Give up a prospect, give up a Tarasenko who you could potentially get something decent in another trade. Give up a Vince Dunn who, again, you could dangle in front of almost any team and they'd be at least interested. Do you do that now, or do you wait a year and all of a sudden Matthew Tkachuk's price tag to acquire him is much cheaper because he's an RFA at that point, and he's said apparently he's not interested in staying in Calgary. So all of a sudden that price tag becomes cheaper in about a year's time.
Well, I think Tarasenko and Dunn and a prospect is not much for Tkachuk. Considering that, Tarasenko, there's rumors about the Blues could expose him to Seattle, lose him for nothing, and essentially people are trying to run Dunn out of town, even though he's got some value. I mean, trading Dunn and a prospect essentially you might lose Tarasenko for nothing. So I think this could be a deal that even if they do decide to wait and get Tkachuk a year down the road, that would obviously, as far as resources go, be better. But moving Tarasenko and Dunn and a prospect for Tkachuk, I can easily see that going down based on how Tarasenko plays from here on out and how Dunn plays from here on out and how the prospect develops. That could be a trade you look back on like 3, 4, or 5 years and you're like, wow, that was a fantastic move by Armstrong. Because what if Tarasenko is on his way out, or does hurt his shoulder again? And what if Dunn never really fixes his issues in the defensive zone and becomes a guy who's a liability but has some upside but is never really consistent enough to be in the lineup all the time? I'm being optimistic about it, as far as the Blues go, and then pessimistic about the guys who are leaving. But I think that's a deal I'd do, because as an RFA, I mean, I don't know. If you feel like you might not get him next year based on other things, I say if you can get him now, you don't wait. I don't think you take points off the board. I guess.
Yeah, I think if you're losing, you're pretty much set on losing Tarasenko. You need somebody to get the fan base excited about coming in here. And if you go to Rutherford's article from the other day about who the Blues could potentially get, Rutherford and Dom Lecision looking at potential trade partners for Tarasenko right now, nothing was close to Tkachuk. Right, like the one that got my attention was Noah Dobson. You're putting all your hope in a prospect, right? How many prospects just don't make it? If you can bring a bona fide guy in, give up Tarasenko, give up Dunn, and a pick to bring in Tkachuk this year, I think you have to do it. Yeah,
I think the prospect might be like a Costin or something.
Yeah,
right. But I think you have to do it based on just that analysis of what Rutherford and Lecision were projecting the Blues could potentially bring in as a return. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'd do it, and I wouldn't wait. Just because I think that a lot could happen between now and then, and I would just take my chances now.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, these are just rumors. Who knows who the source is and how close they are to the situation. But like we said before, it's a Rutherford source, and he wouldn't write something like that about a source he's not, at least mostly confident in. So you have to assume the information is fairly accurate. So unlike a lot of people out there who claim to have sources that don't, and say there's a handshake deal in place with Tarasenko, he's gone. He's gone already. The deal is already in place. So all this talk about Tarasenko now, maybe to Calgary, or Tarasenko coming back to Armstrong with more teams that he would be allowed to be traded to. But why is all this happening when a handshake deal is already in place and just waiting on the physical? I mean, why all this talk? I don't get it.
Dark web.
I'm sorry. It's just ridiculous. Some people just pulling shit out of their ass and making shit up. It's ridiculous.
That's social media, man. That's just how things go nowadays.
People can get out there and say anything, and then I don't have to reveal sources. Nobody else does. I can say whatever I want.
Yep.
Okay, it pisses me off. I'm sorry.
I'm with you. Moving into another Central Division team, Pekka Rinne, Blues killer for a long time. He has announced his retirement. For those of you who have not seen it, he did post something really awesome on the Players Tribune about, I think was called "Thank You Nashville." Just a really nice post about a player who spent his entire career in one city. He retires as the Nashville goaltending leader in games played, 683, as well as 369 wins, a 2.43 GAA, 60 shutouts, and 17,627 saves, all leading goaltending statistics for the Predators, which, if you followed the NHL as long as we have, they've had a great goaltending history already in Nashville in the short time they've been in the league. So that's all impressive numbers for him. Again, 683 games in the NHL, all with Nashville, record 369, 213, and 75. He was the 2018 Vezina Trophy winner, a four-time All-Star, and he was also many times he was nominated for the Vezina Trophy as the goaltender of the year. I know there's a lot of jokes that go around about Nashville and their banners, but I will say, retire this guy's number as soon as you can. That is the first deserving member of Nashville that deserves a jersey retirement. I will say now that he's retired, one of my favorite players to ever play the game. I could never say that as a Blues fan because he was such a Blues killer, but I loved his style, and I thought he was such a fun goalie to watch in goal and always seemed to have fun on the ice. So your guys' thoughts on Pekka Rinne?
I'll say that the moment that, first off, great goaltender. That was what I was saying. But I think the moment for me that I saw the Blues turn the corner against him, because he did own us, like he owned most teams. But it was 2019 that the back-to-back games, we were at center ice. We're out watching that game, and where we beat them both in both those games. It was a home and a home, I believe, and we won them both. I think we won them both, and that to me was like, wow, we just beat Rinne. And I think it was Saros and Rinne, right? And they played them both, and we beat Rinne. And I'm like, wow, that was in a game that we at the time we thought we had to win, and but we did. It was
that
in the
part
early,
of that stretch
early on the turnaround,
right?
Yeah, early on the turnaround, right? Yeah, and it was just fantastic. And I think that to me was the moment I'm like, okay, the Blues have turned the corner on him, and that was that was almost like where he actually. I mean, he started to decline around that time, too. So because I know the last couple of years his stats weren't what they were before. So, that's what I think of when I think of Rinne and his return to mediocrity almost to end his career.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a return to mediocrity because
not a return to mediocrity. Sorry, right. I mean, coming down to earth.
Right. Much better way to phrase it, because I remember going to in his rookie year, early on, Blues home opener was against Nashville, and he shut us out in a home opener, and it was like, who's this guy? Pekka who? And because I think that was right, that was when Thomas Vokoun was supposed to be their number one guy. And so like, oh, our home opener, we're getting their backup. This is going to be great. Mm-hmm. And he shut us out. And, he had our number from there on out. And so, I mean, absolutely, as the goalie of the bunch here. Always jealous of Nashville to have that kind of the goalie machine that they had under Mitch Korn, and so congrats to Pekka on a great career. I agree that he's the first guy whose number should hang in those rafters. A proper banner raising is due in Nashville. But man, I'm not so worried about them coming back to the Central next year. No Pecorini, no Victor Arvidsson, another Blues killer. And Philippe Forsberg is pretty much not happy there. So wouldn't be surprised if there's some additional moves coming out of Nashville this offseason. Yeah, I definitely am not as worried about them being in our division now with this announcement.
Yeah, UC Saros, I said this, I think, 2 years ago, that I'm just not that. I get maybe there's just something I'm not seeing. I'm not a goalie scout, but I'm not that scared of UC Saros. I think he's slightly above average, but a good team can beat him on most nights.
Yeah, he's Jaro Halak, right? That is the best comparable that I've just from the eyeball test. He Halak, smaller guy. Rene was huge, took up all the net, 6'5", whatever. Soros is 5'10", 5'11", much smaller stature. Doesn't make all the key saves. So
one more thing I wanted to add that's gentlemen, not in our notes, but we mentioned earlier Shea Weber pretty much announcing I don't know if he was the one that announced it, but probably will not play next year because of foot issues. Does this obviously Stanley Cup final this year for Montreal, 3 wins away from the Stanley Cup. But does this change your opinion, Bill, at all about the trade to bring him in?
No. I mean, they obviously Montreal punched way above its weight class during the playoffs this year. 18th seed overall, making the playoffs and getting to the final. Totally unexpected. And I think it's a testament that Weber played through the injury that now it's going to take him a year, right? At least a year to recover. This could be it for him. This could be the career. I think that Montreal has, with the youth that they've got coming up, they've got a couple of years, with this group before they have to say, it's time to move major pieces of the team. So I think Weber's got the time, to try to come back from the injury, but I don't know. It's definitely disheartening, as a Habs fan to know that he's just, that he won't be there for next year's run. But man, what a heartbreaking thing. That was the hardest thing for me, was seeing he and Price, that their first time getting to the final and just getting steamrolled by a team 18 million over the cap. Just hard to take.
So a couple comments I want to get to here. Jason, actually, first, let's go with Puck Guy 14. He says, wow, is my screen reversed? Because Kurt and I did switch places. I'm more on the left and Kurt is on the right because we figured I'm the host. I should probably be on the left during the summer instead of the guy on the right. Because that's how we read, right? Left to right. Makes sense. Jason Miller says, Puck Guy 14, maybe Jeff and Kurt switched houses. Yeah, we did. I'm actually at Kurt's house. He's at mine. That's how it works.
Yeah, during the summer, Jeff usually runs point on the shows, so it's his baby is during the summer. So we figured we'll switch over, and then during the season we'll probably switch back. So that's the way we take turns with it. So there you go. One
day we'll have Bill. We'll make Bill host the show.
Yes.
That is going to be the worst show ever.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Let's see. Puck Guy 14 asked if Weber retires, doesn't Nashville have a bad cap recapture? Do they? That's a great question. Because I know they took some of his salary on when they moved him, right? I don't know. That's a great question. Puck Guy 14, you have a podcast. Why don't you figure it out? Don't ask us.
Is that what he asked? Is that what he asked? File that under, not our problem.
By the way, our friend Puck Guy 14 with the Teal Town USA podcast, if you haven't listened to them, another great, just like Let's Go Blues Radio, a great podcast to listen to for hockey news. I know you guys still every now and then do your summer stuff too, but if you're interested in hearing any Sharks takes, things going on in the Pacific Division, which we are not division rivals again this year, check out Teal Town USA. Anything else we want to mention, boys?
The only other thing that I would mention is, I don't know if you guys saw the news or not, but Mike McKenna not going to be back with Vegas on the broadcast next year.
Unfortunately,
and disappointed, but hey, maybe the Blues can look at bringing in some new talent in the near future. Bring in the local goalie. Do it, St. Louis Blues.
Do it, Leary.
Mike McKenna. Friend of the
show, Mike McKenna. Yeah. No, I actually, it's funny you say that. I actually mentioned, or I actually messaged Mike earlier today, and just gave him some words of encouragement. We've all been there. We've had our moments where we're laid off or let go, and it's disheartening. But we're all, if you're good at your craft, you'll land on your feet, and I feel like he will too. And like you said, Bill, I even said that in my message to him. I said, hopefully there's an opening in St. Louis, and we'll be getting your insight here, because I flat out will admit I watched Vegas Golden Knights broadcast last year just to hear his insight. And I would love to hear it here in St. Louis.
Do we have an opening on this show for him?
Well, Kurt, we didn't want to tell you, but there's been some talk, and maybe we should have done this off air, but Mike's coming on to replace you next week. So sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Now I know how Steve Jobs feels. Or felt.
Yeah, felt. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, Mike, hey, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show. Come join us next week. Why not? So I want to mention before we close up the show here, folks, that the next 2 weeks are some pretty big moments actually here in the NHL. We've got the expansion draft. We've also got the NHL entry draft as well as free agency. So we will be having live shows the next 2 weeks, probably on Wednesdays, but that might change depending on the news. We will be back the next 2 weeks with live shows to talk about all that's going to happen in the NHL, because obviously some big news coming.
Protected lists are due for the expansion draft on Saturday, and they'll be revealed on Sunday.
Yep. And we've already given ours. So if you want to hear it, listen to the last 4 episodes. They're somewhere in there.
Bill wasn't on the show when we did that.
No.
He missed that week.
I did.
Bill, quick. What's your protected list?
Yeah.
7
forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goalie, right?
Blair Atchinum.
Protecting Blair Atchinum.
Rich
Pilon, Vladimir Chepeturkin, Michel Picard. Might protect Gretzky. I don't know. He's pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
And Rico Pearson.
Rico Pearson.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico.
He could play forward or defense.
I was going to say we'll put Atchinum on D just for the hell of it. Who's your goalie?
Fred Brathwaite.
Fred Brathwaite. There's your protected list. That's what we all needed to hear right there.
See, you should have protected Golden Gloves champion Jablonski, and you could also protect the goalie Jablonski. You could you could protect both Oblonskis that the team has had.
There you go.
And it would have been a shout out to my doctor who happens to be named Jablonski.
There you go.
Who's your defense? Because I know Jeff's defense is goofy. What's yours? Protected defense. Do you protect the big three? The big three, or do you go off the board?
My protection list. I'm gonna protect Parayko, Falk, and Krug.
Yeah, okay. That's the big three. Yep,
that's what I did. And Jeff went more rogue. Different rogue.
I went Parayko, Scandella, and Mikola. I'm enticing. I want to entice Seattle to take one of the big contracts. Take it off our books.
Yeah.
No, I don't want the big contracts to leave. I don't want them to leave. They're especially Falk. Who you said you protected? Who? Parayko. So I want to see Falk and I want to see Krug. Yeah. I want to see him.
I will say I might walk back the Falk because I thought he had a really good year. So
yeah, he for all of the consternation that we had, when he signed while Petro was still here, that it was the omen that Petro was going to be leaving. He had a hell of a year this year.
Yeah, he did.
And if he can repeat that and play at that level throughout the season, I think, like I made this point a couple of times, at the end of the season, I thought Krug finally started looking comfortable in a Blues jersey, started being the Torrey Krug of old.
And that's what Falk did his first year here. He looked better late. So,
right.
Yeah.
So let those two guys come on, and the ghost of Petro is gone. Let's see what they can do. Parayko. I still think there's so much upside with the guy, but he may only have a year or two to prove it at this point.
Want to have Craig Button on the show?
I still protect him.
Have Craig Button on the show, and we could talk about Parayko for a while.
I've never asked him to come on. Maybe I will.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be great. We could bring back tweet.
When you laughed at me, that was funny.
Because you got something against Parayko?
No, this is exactly how I was
his protected list was like. I think my criticism of him was how overrated I thought he had Cale Makar, and Jesus, I was wrong.
I thought it was Dougie Hamilton. I think he had Dougie Hamilton as
he did, and Dougie's going to get paid this offseason, but he's still fourth or fifth team in a young career. That says something about your personality.
Do you protect Tarasenko, Bill? If he's not moved before,
if he's not
didn't
moved
list
before,
him earlier, so why would he?
It's true. But he also listed Yablonski and
Blair Scratchman. Because
that's the big question right now in St. Louis. Who does Tarasenko get protected or moved first?
Yeah, I mean, if the market's not there, if the best that you can do is bringing in not the other, not your trading partner's best prospect, then I'd expose him and just get the cap relief and do like everybody else is talking about and make the hard pitch for Landeskog.
So if we had Craig Button on, I'm not kidding. This is how I'd introduce him. I'd go, and now we've got TSN analyst Craig Button on. Craig, first of all, I need to ask you, why did you laugh at Bill on Twitter?
Who's Bill? What? I laugh at everyone. No offense. But the Landeskog talk, that's interesting too, because the talks have kind of, I don't know if they broke down, but he's disappointed in where they're at, and they're way apart apparently. And speculation is that he'll get like $8.5 million somewhere. So
right, and
it's interesting.
And usually, when you hear that kind of talk, that person's not coming back. That was the talk about Petro before he left here.
Yep.
It's
interesting because was it a week or two ago? It was like people close to the organization were saying, "Oh no, they both want to get a deal done, and they totally see Landeskog resigning there." And all of a sudden, that's done about face. So, and the blue with Armstrong and the Blues saying that they're going to go hard for Landeskog if he hits free agency, That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I will say somebody did a mock-up of Landeskog in a Blues jersey, and it didn't look natural to me. But that's I would love that O'Reilly, Landeskog, Perron as your top line. Oh, yeah, I like that. I mean, it's not it's not McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen, but. Whew,
you're going to have to give him 8.5. You're going to have to give him, no movement clause. Probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to want it.
Somebody will give it to him, right? Somebody will give it to him, and we know that Doug's not going to give him the no movement, but
he might give him what he offered Petro, like a modified no movement,
right?
But
at
that's
best.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
Can you imagine though? Right? Can you imagine if he actually gave him a full no movement clause?
Oh,
how apoplectic this fan base would be.
Oh, they would lose their shit. That'd be, oh my God. And I'd love it. I'd bring it. It's just to watch the city burn.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
Some men just like to watch the world burn.
I like drama. I like chaos. So why not? It's fun.
Did you ever catch the guy that stole your diamonds? No. We burned down the forest. Right? That's Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Yep, that's okay. That was kind of a deep reference. Well, guys, we got a couple more comments here we'll get to, and then we're going to close up shop here. Derek in the YouTube chat. Perunovic said he modeled his game after Krug, and I think that was before Krug joined our team, which you are correct. So I'd like to see Krug mentor Perunovic. He also says, tinfoil hat theory. What if the Blues are just saying we will go hard for Landeskog so that the Avs make an overpayment leading to cap hell? Hey, I'm all for those kind of mind games. If that's the case, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting game of chicken that either the Blues would be doing or his agent would be saying, because I know agents like to fabricate offers from other teams to try and drive up the price from the team that the player wants to play for. So, I mean, obviously that could be part of it too. But they got to pay McCarr if they want to drive the price on players. Throw an offer sheet at McCarr for $10 million per.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Because they'd have to sign it. They wouldn't let him go. Whew. Yeah, that'd be that'd be awesome.
That was an article that I think flew under the radar. I think it was I want to say it was God. And my mind's blanking, but somebody threw out an article on the Athletic, LeBron, I think it was, about somebody's going to offer sheet McCarr this year. He's the most attractive offer sheet target in years.
2 years, $10 million per. 2 years, $10 million per offer sheet.
Damn,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
and they would sign it.
They would have to sign it.
They'd have to sign it, and then they'd be screwed. They wouldn't. They'd lose Landeskog. They'd have to do something. That'd be awesome.
Jason Miller says in the chat, the Avs are real close to having to pay lots of guys. The cap has become their enemy. And yes, you're 100%, Jason. Should be interesting to watch.
Yep.
Them losing to Vegas this year was a nail in a lot of coffins.
And let's face it, Colorado and Vegas both losing this year was nail in a lot of coffins.
Yeah,
both those teams expected to win this season.
It's one of the more interesting off seasons in a while, and I do want to say that in our season recap show, we called this right away. Not that it was anything groundbreaking epiphany, but it was just like we kind of talked about it. And it hit us when we're talking about all the things that need to be addressed or could be addressed. We're like, wow, this is going to be quite the offseason. A lot of stuff. And this team could look a lot different going into next season. And that's looking
Not
to
just
be the
the
case.
Blues, the entire Central Division.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the Blues too. It's just like
the entire league.
There's so much.
Yeah.
So much. It's going to be.
Look at Tampa.
Yeah, no kidding. 8-10 million over the cap. And we're on the cusp of it. Like it starts Sunday, I guess, when the protected lists are revealed, and then Wednesday is the expansion draft, right? So
I think so.
Or the entry draft. Which is first, entry or expansion?
It's the expansion first.
Expansion. So expansion is next Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday, right, is the entry draft. So all of this,
and then that Sunday is free agency.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy next 2 weeks, 2+ weeks. Awesome. Love it.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of fun. That's why I said tune into this show for the next 2 weeks, folks. Because tune in all summer because we're gonna be here all summer. But the next couple weeks are gonna be very interesting in the NHL landscape. So make sure you tune in here. We will break it all down for you, and we'll have plenty to say. And again, if you enjoyed this game recap, game in-game commentary we had tonight, again, I mean this more than any other show we've ever had. If you enjoyed this, if you hated this, please tell us, and that way we know if it's something we should do again. But for us, I know the three of us had a lot of fun doing what we did tonight. So that was
Who would
fun.
hate this? It was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So, support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com. And get 10% off by texting Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. By the way, every week when I read that, I don't know, Kurt, if you feel the same, I always have to really try and make sure I enunciate because I'm always afraid I'm going to say sexed Dustin. Make sure you sext Dustin at 636-393-8745 and get 10% off. I'm like, I really hope I say text. Text.
I've never thought of that, but now I will. Thank you.
Now you will. Every time. Every time. Also brought to you by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or to make a reservation in their awesome tap room. While you're there and enjoying a number of their fantastic beers, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game. That's centericebrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That will do it for episode 44 of season 9 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. We had a blast doing the show as always, so thank you for tuning in. For Kurt Price and Bill Day, I'm Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues and sign Landeskog.
You're up, Bill.
Let's go Ricard Pearson.
Let's go sign Kachuk and Landeskog. Let's do both.
Do it.
It may have been tipped.
It may have been deflected.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at fourth.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend. They never give a single